A stray dog fell into a raging river and came dangerously close to losing its life, but just when all seemed lost, an extraordinary act of bravery saved the day. The incident took place along a high concrete embankment beside a fast-flowing river, where danger lingered just steps away. The dog had been running along the edge of the embankment, curiously sniffing and watching the swirling waters below. Something in the river caught its attention, drawing the dog closer to the fence lining the edge. Eager to investigate, the dog lost its footing, slipped, and tumbled into the turbulent water. Though the initial fall was terrifying, the dog managed to avoid serious injury. It frantically paddled to stay afloat, clawing at the riverbed for a fleeting moment of stability. However, the river's powerful current was relentless. It threatened to drag the dog under its icy waters, sapping the animal's strength. Above, the high concrete embankment formed an insurmountable barrier, leaving the dog stranded with no way to escape. Without help, its survival seemed impossible. At that critical moment, Maxim appeared on the embankment. A young man with a sharp eye and a courageous heart, he immediately noticed the commotion in the water. His pulse quickened when he spotted the struggling dog, its desperate attempts to stay afloat growing weaker. Without hesitation, Maxim sprang into action. He quickly assessed the situation, understanding the peril the dog faced and the urgency of the moment. Maxim removed his shoes to avoid slipping on the wet embankment and prepared for what could be a life-threatening leap. Steeling himself against the danger, he dove into the icy water below. The freezing cold shocked his system as the strong current pushed against him. Maxim fought to keep his balance while navigating the powerful flow. The dog, sensing Maxim's approach, seemed to recognize that help was on the way. It didn't resist as Maxim carefully reached for it, wrapping his arms securely around its trembling body. With the dog in his grasp, Maxim turned toward the embankment, determined to get them both to safety. But the river's current was unrelenting, making every step a battle. Above, a few passersby had gathered, drawn by the unfolding drama. They watched with bated breath, their concern growing for both the dog and Maxim, who was now clearly struggling to overcome the river's force. Realizing Maxim couldn't make it out alone, 3 men from the crowd quickly climbed over the railing of the embankment to help. They formed a human chain, clasping hands tightly and leaning out as far as they could to reach Maxim and the dog. Maxim strained to lift the heavy dog toward them, but the chain wasn't long enough. Despite their best efforts, the attempts to pull them out failed each time. Maxim himself couldn't reach the outstretched hands as one arm was needed to hold the dog securely. Undeterred, the rescuers regrouped and called for more help. A few additional passersby joined, and the group extended the human chain, anchoring themselves firmly to ensure stability. The danger was immense. If even one person lost their grip, the entire chain could collapse, sending everyone into the treacherous waters below. Despite the risks, the volunteers pressed on, determined to save the dog and its brave rescuer. With their hands clasped tightly and the chain now longer, the rescuers tried again. Maxim, his strength waning but his resolve unbroken, inched closer to the chain. Finally, their hands met. One of the men grasped Maxim's wrist firmly while others in the chain pulled with all their might. Slowly, Maxim and the dog were hoisted out of the water and onto solid ground. A wave of relief swept through the crowd as Maxim and the dog collapsed onto the embankment, exhausted but safe. The crowd erupted into cheers, their applause echoing across the river. The dog, though soaked and shivering, licked Maxim's hand as if to say thank you. The moment was as heartwarming as it was inspiring, a testament to the power of selflessness and teamwork. People quickly brought blankets to warm Maxim and the dog, while others offered words of praise for the brave young man who had risked everything to save a life. Maxim, ever humble, brushed off the compliments, insisting he had only done what anyone would have done in his place. The dog, fortunately, suffered no injuries and was soon taken to a nearby veterinarian for a checkup. Maxim, unable to part with the animal he had risked his life for, decided to adopt it. He named the dog River, a tribute to the place where their bond was forged. News of the rescue spread quickly, inspiring people far and wide. Maxim's bravery and the collective effort of the townsfolk became a symbol of hope and humanity. For Maxim and River, the incident marked the beginning of an unbreakable friendship. From that day forward, they were inseparable, proof that even in life's most perilous moments, courage and compassion can turn the tide. Maxim plunged into the icy river, his body instantly shocked by the freezing water, but his determination unwavering. Nearby, 3 passersby had stopped to witness the unfolding drama. They stood frozen with worry, their eyes darting between the distressed dog and Maxim, who now faced the same treacherous current that had ensnared the animal. The river roared around them, its power evident in the swirling waves that threatened to pull them under. Maxim approached the dog cautiously. The water was deceptively fast, and even the slightest misstep could spell disaster for both of them. Step by step, Maxim closed the distance, his feet struggling for balance against the slippery riverbed. The dog, sensing his intentions, didn't resist. It seemed to understand that this stranger was there to help, its frantic paddling slowing as Maxim extended his hands toward it. Reaching the dog, Maxim wrapped both arms securely around its trembling body. The animal was soaked and shivering, its strength nearly depleted. Maxim began the arduous journey back to the shore, every step a battle against the relentless current. Onlookers on the embankment held their breath, silently praying for the pair's safe return. The river, unwilling to release its grip, pushed against Maxim with fierce resistance. Each step was a test of endurance as he kept the dog tightly in his grasp, ensuring its safety above his own. At times, the water surged against his chest, threatening to topple him, but Maxim held firm, inching closer to the embankment. When he finally reached the shore, the crowd above erupted in cheers of relief and admiration. Exhausted but triumphant, Maxim lifted the dog onto the bank, its soaked fur clinging to its body. The dog, still shivering from the ordeal, turned to Maxim and licked his hand as if to express its gratitude. It was a simple but profound gesture that moved everyone who witnessed it. Once back on land, the onlookers rushed to Maxim's side, offering towels and blankets to warm both him and the dog. One of them called for a veterinarian to check on the animal, while others praised Maxim's selflessness and courage. Maxim, ever modest, shrugged off their compliments, insisting that he had simply done what anyone would have done. But the truth was clear to everyone there. What Maxim had done was far from ordinary. He had risked his life for an animal in need, diving into a situation that most would have deemed too dangerous. The veterinarian arrived shortly after and confirmed that the dog, though shaken and cold, was unharmed. Maxim stayed by its side as it was warmed and dried, ensuring it felt safe and cared for. Word of Maxim's bravery spread quickly through the neighborhood, and soon, the story of the daring rescue reached social media, inspiring countless people with its message of compassion and heroism. As for the dog, it found more than just a rescuer in Maxim. It found a home. Unable to part with the animal he had risked so much to save, Maxim decided to adopt the stray, naming it River in honor of the place where their bond was forged. From that day forward, the two became inseparable, a testament to the unbreakable bond that can form between humans and animals when compassion and courage come together. Maxim's act of heroism served as a reminder to all who heard his story. In moments of great need, even the smallest actions can become miracles. His selflessness not only saved a life but also showed the world the profound impact of kindness and bravery. By then, a few more passersby had gathered along the embankment, witnessing the dire situation unfold. They saw the dog struggling against the raging current and Maxim's desperate attempt to rescue it. Realizing that Maxim alone could not bring the dog to safety, 3 men stepped forward to help. They climbed over the metal railing of the embankment and, with their hands clasped tightly, formed a human chain to reach Maxim and the dog. Maxim, balancing himself in the powerful current, tried his best to lift the heavy dog toward the outstretched hands above him. The men strained, stretching as far as they could, but their chain wasn't long enough to reach. Time and again, the rescue attempts fell short. Maxim himself couldn't grasp the men's hands, as one arm was firmly holding the frightened dog, which clung to him as if sensing he was its only hope. With no other choice, the men had to return to the shore to regroup and think of another plan. Meanwhile, more onlookers began to gather, drawn by the unusual and urgent scene. Maxim, despite his growing exhaustion, shouted to the new arrivals for assistance. He asked them to join the human chain and make it longer so they could finally reach him and the dog. Understanding the gravity of the situation, a fourth man stepped forward, along with others who volunteered to anchor and support the chain from the shore. This time, the human chain stretched farther, but the stakes were even higher. The men were perched precariously on the edge of the embankment, relying solely on the grip of the person in front of them to keep from falling. If even one link in the chain failed, the rest could tumble into the river from the great height, risking severe injury or worse. Despite the danger, the brave townsfolk pressed on, determined to help Maxim and the dog. With their hands locked tightly, the men leaned forward, inching closer to Maxim. The people on the shore secured the chain, gripping the men's waists to steady them. Maxim, now struggling against fatigue and the icy grip of the water, saw his chance. Summoning the last of his strength, he hoisted the dog higher and reached out toward the extended hand of the fourth man in the chain. Finally, their hands met. The man grasped Maxim's wrist firmly, and the others in the chain pulled with all their might. Slowly but surely, Maxim and the dog were lifted from the powerful current and onto solid ground. The moment their feet touched the embankment, a wave of relief washed over the crowd. The people erupted into cheers and applause, celebrating the successful rescue. Maxim, drenched and shivering, collapsed onto the ground beside the dog, which was trembling but safe. The dog, still in shock from its ordeal, licked Maxim's hand as if to thank him for his bravery. The crowd, moved by the incredible teamwork and selflessness they had just witnessed, continued to cheer and offer their support. Some rushed forward with blankets to warm Maxim and the dog, while others checked to ensure they were unharmed. The heroic rescue became the talk of the town that day. Complete strangers had come together, risking their own safety to save a man and a stray dog from what seemed like an impossible situation. Their quick thinking and coordinated effort had turned a moment of despair into one of triumph. As the adrenaline subsided, Maxim turned to the people who had risked their safety to help him. He thanked each of them with heartfelt sincerity, humbled by their willingness to step into danger to save a life, human or animal. The men who had formed the human chain were equally appreciative of Maxim's bravery, acknowledging that without his initial leap into the water, the dog would have had no chance of survival. The dog was taken to a nearby veterinarian, where it was confirmed to have suffered no serious injuries, though it was cold and shaken. Maxim, too, emerged relatively unscathed apart from exhaustion and the chill of the icy water. After ensuring the dog was safe and dry, Maxim made a life-changing decision. He adopted the stray, naming it Miracle in honor of the extraordinary events that had united them. Word of the daring rescue spread quickly, capturing the attention of local and national news outlets. The story highlighted not only Maxim's courage but also the collective compassion of the townsfolk who had come together to save the dog. It became a shining example of how teamwork and empathy can overcome even the most daunting challenges. For Maxim and Miracle, the rescue marked the start of an unbreakable bond. From that day forward, Miracle never left Maxim's side, a constant reminder of the incredible lengths people will go to for love and kindness. Their story inspired countless others to look out for those in need, proving that with courage, cooperation, and compassion, even the most desperate situations can have a happy ending.